We are. A mouthful of water. Sorry.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Amy. Suddenly have acid indigestion.
We are on the hunt. Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. Welcome. We're so glad you're here.
We are. This is our second episode we're recording of the day, so you know how this usually goes.
It gets weirder.
It does.
And more off topic.
And we don't know what to say when we open.
So, yeah. While we got you here,
Yeah.
don't forget, please check out our website, onthehotpodcast.com. We've got new merch. I'm going to be putting out some more new merch. Go check it out. It's awesome. Tell all your friends about how awesome our podcast is. Rate, review, subscribe, follow. Just shout it from the rooftops.
Yes. Go to Facebook. Go to Instagram.
Tell everyone.
Yeah.
Tell your mom. Tell your grandma.
Tell them. If they want to find us, it's so much easier just to go through our Facebook.
Or our website, because our
Just
website
click on
has
it.
links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Yeah.
Castbox, Amazon Music. Anywhere you want to listen, just go to our website. You can click on it and find our podcast.
We've
right
made
there.
it so
Although
easy.
you're already listening to this, so you found it.
But I'm saying,
You tell your friends.
recommend it
True,
to
true,
other
true,
people
true,
because
true.
everyone always says it. Keaton's like, hey, they can't find it. It takes forever to
Go
find.
to our website.
Exactly.
Keaton.
She probably doesn't even know we have a website.
It's pretty average. All right. Well.
Okay.
I'm gonna put on a little chappy stick.
I know. I've been like aquaphoring myself to death over here. So then my hair, these stray pieces of hair the wind blew out, keep sticking to my lips.
Oh yeah. Well, I oil my face up every single night to death, and then my hair is just like in oil. It's so gross. But anyway, whatever. Moisture. Okay. What am I saying? Okay, everyone. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Unless you have something you want to talk about.
I don't think so. Because I don't know.
No. Okay.
This comes
great.
out to yesterday was Christmas.
No.
No.
Yesterday was.
Oh, that's right. Next week is Christmas.
If you celebrate Christmas,
Listen,
almost
it's really
Merry
hard.
Christmas.
Happy holidays. It's really
Happy
hard.
Kwanzaa.
Like,
If you don't celebrate any holidays right now, happy December.
it really is.
Okay. Cool. Here we
I
go.
hope. Or is it? In my Keith Morrison voice.
It was diabolical.
It was a happy December. Or was it?
I need to say diabolical more. Dateline's Keith Morrison podcasts are really excellent, I have to say.
Keith Morrison is really excellent. We love you, Keith.
He's great. I'm listening
is.
to Mommy Doomsday right now. I know I'm like way too late, but anyhow. Okay, moving on. My story today is the Visalia Axe murders
Ooh.
and the corresponding haunting of the house of the murders. So this is
Isn't
little...
it called like the Visalia Murder House or something?
Is it Visalia or Visalia?
Oh, I know.
I'm saying Visalia
I'd have
because that's where the Visalia ransackers.
Villisca.
Valiska.
Villisca.
The Valiska axe murders. I'm saying Visalia like the Golden State Killer. He was also the Visalia ransacker.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah, whatever.
Valiska, you know, think it's in Iowa. It is. We should go there. It's funny because
We always say that.
I know.
If it's something in the Midwest.
Iowa's
we're
not
like,
that far though from us.
No.
I don't know where
I've
in
been to a
Iowa.
rodeo there in Keokuk. I'm just there, just the state of Iowa. Keokuk, Iowa.
Oh my God. It's funny though, because the house where this took place, I mean, this is a grisly murder. It's really bad.
Well, anytime an axe is involved.
Yeah, I mean, good God. And there's kids, just horrifying. But the house, so it's like the house still stands, and then there's a sign outside, and it's like dripping blood, and it says, Valiska Axe Murder House. It's like dripping blood, and you're like, that is kind of insensitive.
Yeah, a little
People
bit.
died here.
Yeah.
Children, I'm pretty sure, died here.
And we don't need the graphic of the blood. We get it.
Yeah,
It's an axe murder.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, get your life together. Viscilla,
Yeah.
whatever.
is it like a B&B or
Visalia.
what?
I don't know. What is the name? How do I say this? I keep not saying it right. Valiska. I'm pretty sure that's right. Okay, here we go. The Valiska axe murders occurred between the evening of June 9th, 1912, and the early morning of June 10th, 1912, the day before my birthday. My birthday is June 11th. Not that anyone cares. In the town of Valiska, gosh, Iowa, United States. Because people who aren't from the United States may not know Iowa's a state. I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where we live, this whole area is known as the flyover states.
in the Midwest.
Which is, it's kind of sad. Like,
That's kind of rude,
we're
actually.
Important. We have things to see.
Stuff here.
We don't just
we have
fly
murder
over
houses.
us. That's right.
I was
Probably
watching
more than we care to have.
I know. I was watching. Oh God, what's it called? The Paris in Love. I'm such a loser. Because you know what? Unpopular opinion. I really like Paris Hilton.
Oh, I like her.
I didn't for the longest time because I didn't know anything about her. But after watching her documentary on YouTube, which is so,
I've liked her since like the early 2000s.
I know,
when A Simple Life was out. I thought she was hilarious.
yeah. And I guess I just didn't care. Maybe was my stance. I was just like, okay, whatever. Why does she talk like that? You know, why does she have that baby voice thing? But now, as I've watched her documentary, I've seen that's a coping mechanism. And when she feels uncomfortable or shy, hi, we understand that.
Yeah, at least you're trying to talk. I just run away.
At least you're trying to talk. And the wearing sunglasses. If I could get away with wearing sunglasses all the time, I probably would too.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, she went the episode the other day, she just went to Michigan with her fiance, because that's like, I don't know. And her disdain, though, for Michigan. She's very nice to everyone, but she's just kind of like, you know,
Well,
hotel. She comes from a hotel family, and she's staying at this kind of rickety, and then her husband's, this has nothing to do with anything, but there's a giant bathtub with jets, and he's like, that's like a staple of the Midwest. And I was like, is it? Because I have a giant bathtub with jets. And I was like, is this a really cheeseball thing that we only do in the Midwest?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
I don't
either.
have a jetted tub.
Do you have a jetted tub?
I actually, our floor plans called for one. I'm like, no, I want another closet.
Oh, well, I use my tub like multiple times a week.
We had one in our other house, and I like never took a bath.
Yeah.
I mean, I shower every day, just to be clear. But I just like, I don't
like
know.
baths.
I just don't like taking baths. I think because when I was growing up at our house, we didn't have a shower.
So you
all we
only
had was a
had
tub.
that.
That's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
you ever got. And it seems like the water doesn't stay hot long enough. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I just prefer a shower.
Yeah. It's like my self-care thing. I never like actually take a bath to cleanse my body. That's not the purpose. You know, it's like anyway. Doesn't matter. No one cares. Moving on.
I mean, I do have a tub too, just so we're clear. It's just not jetted. It's just your standard builder grade. People are like, what is she just like?
But you
like
can just
one
have
of
a
those
stand-up
cool, like,
shower.
pool showers. You can hose off before you get
can
in the
just
pool.
have a stand-up
Does anyone
shower.
ever do that? Anyone ever shower before they get in the pool?
Oh, I mean, no. Why would you?
I don't know,
It's
but
full
that
of
was
chlorine.
when you would go to the pool. Though they'd have the showers. It's always like, make sure
maybe
you shower
because
before
a
you get
public pool.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like they don't really.
no.
I never did.
No. Well, we were kids, right?
Yeah,
Like, you didn't
I'm
care.
Like, well, I'm not. What am I going to get
Public
in the pool?
pools gross me out, though, as an adult now.
Yeah, I hate them.
There's people. I'm in a swimsuit.
There's the potential for drowning.
Yes.
You have to shut the pool down when there's like a turd floating in it.
Oh,
It's
God.
just the whole thing's a nightmare.
No. Nope. Okay. I have to have had a few drinks, which I really don't drink anymore, so it doesn't work. Anywho, here we are. Okay. So back to this horror story.
Okay.
So 6 members of the Moore family and 2 house guests were bludgeoned to death in the house. So it's so sad. All 8 victims, including 6 children. Ugh. So wait a minute. So there are 8 so only 2 adults.
Well, probably the parents.
Okay, when they said house guests, I assume they're adults, not sleepover guests.
Oh.
So they were having
Even worse.
Oh my God, you send your kid to someone's house?
Ugh.
My kids are never
I
leaving my
already,
house.
like, when my kids go to sleepovers, I'm awake all night because I'm like, what if they have gas heat? What if there's the carbon monoxide leak? What if they, like, I just, all these scenarios go through my head.
Oh,
it's terrible.
yeah. Oh God. Okay. A lengthy investigation afterwards yielded several suspects, one of whom was tried twice. The first trial ended in a hung jury, and the second ended in acquittal. And no one ever, like, they still don't know who did this. So that's kind of the worst part. Okay, so we're going to get into the horror of the actual murder. I know. This isn't my favorite murder. There is ghosts after this. Don't worry. Okay, so the family consisted of Josiah, the dad, Sarah, and their 4 kids, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul. They were really a rich family, although the house is very modest. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't care. They just drove them.
Maybe they just had indoor plumbing or something.
Yeah, true.
Like,
true. And they were really well liked. So on June 9th, Mary Catherine, one of the kids, invited Ida Mae and Lena Gertrude. I'm not even going to tell you the ages of these kids because it's horrifying. To spend the night. And that evening, the visiting girls and the Moore family attended church at the Presbyterian church nearby and participated in the Children's Day program, which the mom had coordinated. Oh, the 1912s. After the program ended at 9:30, they all walked home, and they arrived home around 9:45 to 10 p.m. Wow. Ooh. This is late. And there's no lights, probably.
No.
Everyone has, like,
kerosene.
Torch.
Well, I don't think you just, like, carried that just to be carrying it.
Well, in America, torch doesn't mean flashlight. I'm talking about, like...
I know what you're talking about. I know, but I'm talking
about our international listeners.
All two of you.
So I just imagine they're holding a... Okay, anyway, no one knows.
Right.
At 7 a.m. the next day, June 10th, Mary Pickham, the Moore's neighbor, became concerned after she noticed that the family had not come out to do their morning chores. Oh, the 1912s.
Ugh, morning chores. Like,
what does that mean?
Probably like...
Dumping the poo?
Hanging your laundry.
Oh, 7 a.m. She knocked on their door. Nobody answered. She tried to open the door, and it was locked. She let the Moore's chickens out. These are the chores.
Oh.
And she called Ross Moore, Josiah, the dad's brother. Like the neighbor, Ross received no response when he knocked, and then he shouted too, and nothing happened. So he unlocked the front door with his copy of the key. While the neighbors just stayed on the porch. Smart.
Yeah.
But call. Poor Ross, like, this is his brother and his brother's family. So he went in the parlor.
But I mean, wouldn't you rather... I mean, that's a horrible thing as someone who has found a family member's body. It's a horrible thing, but you almost feel like, okay, I'm glad it was me, though, and not a stranger.
Yeah. I don't... But, like, this is so gruesome.
Well, yeah,
you know, it's like,
totally
could you get it out of your mind? I don't know. So he went into the parlor and opened the guest bedroom door where he found the two little neighbor girls' bodies. He immediately told the neighbor, he's like, call Henry, the police, the primary peace officer. I guess that means police officer. Don't know. And the police officer search of the house revealed that the entire family had been bludgeoned to death with an axe that belonged to the dad that was actually still found in the guest room. It was still there. Imagine if they had DNA now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's sad. So they concluded that the murders had taken place between midnight and 5 a.m. 2 spent cigarettes in the attic suggested that the killer or killers patiently waited in the attic until the family was asleep.
So that... Why, though? Why?
I know. It's so diabolical. And did they not smell the cigarette smoke? Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know.
Probably not. I feel like houses were really drafty.
And they probably had, like, actual fire in their house.
Coal, like, to heat yourself.
Oh, that is everyone's worst nightmare. Someone's in your attic waiting for you to go to sleep.
Like there's videos of like the people that hide in the attic and climb down and get food and stuff. Ooh.
Check your attics, people.
Yes.
I just watched a movie on, I don't remember what streaming service it was, but it had, that girl from Pretty Little Liars, the blonde one. Oh, God.
You're talking
yeah,
about,
I can't think of her name. But anyway, in the movie, she moves to New York, and it's like all found footage. Not found footage, but like, anyway, this guy starts stalking her through the camera in her computer.
Ew.
And then like gets in her home, and it's so creepy. And then at the end abducts her. Great. Okay. Spoiler. I wish I could think of that girl's name. Anyway, okay.
Is it like Ashley something? No.
Yeah, Benson.
Yeah.
Ashley Benson. Yep. Okay. Oh, God, this is like really terrible. I didn't even read this obviously before now. The killer or killers began in the parents' room. And the dad received more blows than any other victim. His eyes were actually like gone.
Ugh.
So it's like it was.
Yeah, I would imagine he probably fought back the not that females don't have fight now. I'm just saying I'm imagining physically bigger and stronger.
Or he was the
reason. Victim,
yeah, exactly. And then maybe they were like, we have to kill everyone because they saw or whatever. But what is that? I don't know. It's so to imagine an axe murder though, like there's got to be a screaming and it's loud.
Exactly.
And it's like,
so what's happening to everybody else while the first victim
is being murdered? Yeah. You'd be like running out, I would think. But some of these kids were little, like 5, I think was.
Well,
and
if there were 2 people there, one's doing the murdering while
and maybe that's why they. Yeah, good point. Okay, so the killer actually used the blade on Josiah, but used the blunt end on everyone else. Also interesting. Okay, it's just really terrible. So after they killed the kids, they returned back to the master bedroom and inflicted more blows on the parents. It's like
post-mortem?
Knocking over a shoe that had been filled with blood. So probably.
Or maybe they had just injured the parents enough.
Oh, maybe
that they couldn't stop them from ugh.
And then went downstairs and killed the two guests. The two guest sleepover kids. What?
Yeah.
I mean, how did... Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's very
they were
strange.
downstairs. Clearly, they weren't witnesses to anything.
Right, leave them alone. And how did they not hear all of this?
Well, kids can sleep.
True, that is true. And I'm not victim blaming. It's just, I don't understand the kind of how this all went down. Investigators believe... Okay, this is weird. Believe that all of the victims, except for Lena, who was one of the guests, had been asleep when they were murdered. How? Why? How? Possibly.
Well, I mean... I just and if you think about it, if you hit someone in the right place, there's
not going to make any sound.
Yeah. If they're asleep, that's ugh.
Yeah. Okay. But they think she was awake, and there's some reasons why, and I'm not even going to go into it because it's horrifying. Okay. So the investigation. So there were many possible suspects. I'm just going to go over a few of them because and then we'll get into the haunting. So, Andrew Sawyer was one suspect. He was a transient. That doesn't mean he's a murderer.
No.
And he was otherwise accounted for and was a suspect in the murders. He was interrogated but not charged. Okay, then don't put his name on here. That's literally all it says. He was a transient. Okay, so he's homeless. Great. Okay, Reverend George Kelly, English-born traveling minister in town. He was in town the night of the murders. He was described as peculiar. Why is it so hard for me to say? Peculiar.
There you go.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. After this new medicine I'm on, I have dry mouth a lot. And so every time I make a phone call at work, I'm right before the person answers, I'm just swallowing a bunch real awkwardly.
You need those little sponge swat when my dad was
for your tongue
when he was dying and he couldn't drink or anything anymore. I would just I would put it dip it in water and then I put it in his mouth to just wet his mouth.
Yeah, because literally my tongue, it's just a dry desert in there.
So those exist.
All right, I'll look into it at least before phone calls where someone makes hello and I'm just they're like, are you okay? Okay, so he was peculiar. Reportedly having suffered a mental breakdown as an adolescent. Okay, that's not... Okay, well, anyway, here we go. As an adult, he was accused of peeping and several times asked young women and girls to pose nude for him. Gross!
Ew, this is the Reverend?
Yes, Reverend George Kelly. Gross. Ugh. On June 8th, he came to...
that town.
Valiska. I really have to sound it out. To teach at the Children's Day services? Can we not?
It makes me want to say the Cathedral of Basilica.
I know. And then I just want to say Basilica, Visalia, Valiska. I have so many words.
Venetian. Anything with a V, except what it's actually called.
Oh my God, I'm probably still saying it wrong. So they invited him to teach at that thing that they went to. Did they not know? I guess surely they didn't know he was such a creep. The Children's Day services, yeah.
Youth group.
Yeah, he was there.
Oh.
They said he left town between 5 and 5:30 a.m. the next day, hours before the bodies were discovered. That's suspicious. Reverend Kelly had confessed to the murders in court, but the jury didn't believe his confession. Interesting. What? Why would you confess? I mean, false confessions happen, but usually that's in an
interrogation setting, not at court.
You're like, okay, I did it. Fine. Oh, in the weeks that followed, he displayed a fascination with the case and wrote many letters to the police, investigators, and family of the deceased. Can you not, George?
Yeah, George, boundaries.
Oh, he sucks. This aroused suspicion, and a private investigator wrote back to him asking for details. Oh God, where I lost my place. That he might know about the murders. So he replied with great detail, claiming to have heard sounds and possibly witnessed the murders. So did you do it or did you witness it? His known mental illness made authorities question whether he knew the details because of having committed the murders or he was imagining it. Okay, well, that's not the same.
That doesn't make sense.
2 years after the murder, he was arrested for sending obscene material through the mail. So he sent a dick pic in the mail. What's a photo look like? Okay, hold on.
Maybe he drew something.
And you
imagine you get it, turning it different.
What is this?
Is it a twig and berries?
Oh my God, because it just says sending obscene material through the mail.
I don't know. Did they have like pornographic magazines and stuff back in those days?
I'm sure,
ripping
right?
pictures out of it?
To a woman who had applied for a job as his secretary. George, lock him up.
Sexual harassment in the workplace.
Like, if he hasn't raped someone, he's going to. So please lock him up. So in 1917, he was arrested for these murders. However, and he actually went to trial, but he was acquitted in 2 separate trials.
No.
Yeah. So that's him.
So he probably saw those girls.
Mm-hmm. Was a total creeper.
He was a total pedophile.
Yeah. That seems very likely. So so right now,
in my opinion,
that's our vote.
It was Reverend George.
I'm sure he's dead by now. I don't know about his descendants.
Exactly.
Okay. The next suspect is Frank F. Jones. He was a Valiska resident and an Iowa state senator. Suspicious already. Josiah, the dad, had worked for him at his implement store for many years before he left to open his own store. So the dad, Josiah Moore, reportedly took a lot of business away from this guy. So he was kind of ticked off because he started his own John Deere dealership.
Well, that's why you have a no-compete clause.
That's exactly right. And then, Josiah, that's the dad again, was rumored to have had a sexual affair with Frank F. Jones's daughter-in-law.
Scandalous. It's like an episode of Days of Our Lives.
I know.
Except involving John Deere.
And implements. Okay, well, that's no reason. I mean, I guess that would make you want to kill someone, though? That and children?
No.
Yeah, not that they stole your business. You'd kill him, not everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. Next suspect.
No, I wouldn't kill anyone, actually, just to be clear. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, that's exactly who I'd kill. Okay.
I don't even have a business. But
There's too many suspects, and so too many of these people seem likely.
You need to narrow this down.
Yeah. William Mansfield.
Except the transient guy. Leave him alone.
Yeah, he's just like traveling through. He's riding the rails. So another theory was that senator that we just talked about. The one we just talked about, Frank Jones, hired this guy, William Blackie Mansfield, to murder the family. 9 months before the murders, a similar case of axe murder occurred in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 2 more axe murders happened after in Ellsworth, Kansas, and some other town in Kansas. The cases were similar enough to raise the possibility of having been committed by the same person. Other murders reported as possibly being linked to these crimes included the blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Like a serial killer?
Hold on. I guess I should read this because I'm just saying blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
I'm confused because first it sounded like they hired him as a hitman, but then all of a sudden
it sounds like maybe he's
killer.
doing all of these. He's like a hitman doing all of these. So other murders included the numerous unsolved axe murders along the Southern Pacific Railroad and the unsolved Axeman of New Orleans killings, as well as several other murders during this time period. The murders in Colorado Springs were closely related in execution to those at the Moore House. Again, it was like children still, murder with axes, bed sheets were used to cover the windows to prevent passers-by from looking in. Oh my God. And at the Moore's house, the murderer hung aprons and skirts to cover the windows.
Ooh.
This is so creepy.
Very creepy. And so did they use like the homeowner's axe in all of these cases? Because who's just got axes?
Well, back then you would to cut.
Just like in your house though? Just like.
You'd think it would be like in a shed. Maybe it was in a shed.
Well, that's
true.
Yeah.
But I guess to cut wood and such. So I don't know. Let's see if it goes into that. Because again, I have never read this. What I'm reading to you right now, I have literally never read. As in the murders in Villisca, the murderer in Colorado Springs wiped the blood off his axe and covered the heads of the victims with bedclothes. Ugh. Does that mean nightgowns? Pajamas?
No, sheets.
Okay.
Right?
Like, what's his bedclothes? Yeah, you're right. It's sheets.
Think.
Yeah. This guy was also the prime suspect of the Burns Detective Agency of Kansas City and Detective James Newton something, who suggested that he was a cocaine-addicted serial killer.
Wow,
He's real high.
He is.
This guy
and cocaine back in those days was like...
Where would you even get it? Wasn't
that what like Coca-Cola originally was?
Oh, yeah, true. It was probably very easy to get.
Yeah, it's just, excuse me, I'm over here drinking my cocaine.
I'm sick. Could I please have some cocaine? Sure. Go down to your local apothecary. Get it off the shelf. So this private detective guy believes that Mansfield, this scary guy, was responsible for the axe murders of his wife, infant child, father-in-law, and mother-in-law in Blue Island, Illinois, on July 5th, 2 years after the Valiska murders. Okay, great. According to this private eye's investigation, all the murders were committed in the same manner, indicating that the same man or person probably committed them. He stated that he could prove that Mansfield was present in each of the differing crime scenes on the night of the murder. Okay, how? They don't have CCTV or, like, receipts.
Well, did you, like, if you stayed at a hotel back in those days, you had to, like, sign
true.
in. But you could just make up a name, like a celebrity.
What's a celebrity then?
They always, no, I don't mean like use a celebrity's name like celebrities do.
I thought you meant he would use a celebrity. Like, who's a 1912 celebrity? Who was a celebrity in 1912? I don't know.
Charlie Chaplin. I don't know.
Calamity Jane. Who's that?
That's almost like that show.
What show? Toy Story?
No, what's that show? That show.
This is great.
Oh, I don't know.
You know what's funny is I often look at the microphone as if it's the listeners, as if it's like the third person in this duo.
What is that show?
I have no idea.
Calamity Jane. It's set in like the Wild West. Timothy Ophület or whatever his name is in it.
No.
What is that show? I watched it.
Is it on network television?
Deadwood. I don't know if that's right.
That is a show. Timothy Oliphant, the guy that is the...
I can't ever say his name.
Yeah, Keaton talked about him Anyway, moving on. Okay. Timothy Oliphant. What a guy. In each murder, this is really depressing. The victims were hacked to death with an axe and the mirrors of the homes were covered. Very, what's that? You know, the word where you're like,
suspicious?
No.
Superstitious.
Yes, thank you. I'm like, okay. A burning lamp with the chimney off. What?
Burning lamp
was left at the foot of the bed. And a big, the thing that
like
goes,
the glass
the glass thing. I've never ever thought of that as a chimney. I mean, I get that that's essentially what it is.
But why was it off?
Maybe they hoped it would catch on fire. It was left at the foot of the bed, and a basin in which the murderer washed was found in the kitchen. And in each case, the murderer avoided leaving fingerprints by wearing gloves. Were fingerprints a thing? I mean, I know people had
they had to have been, I guess, or they wouldn't have been checking for them,
true.
Right? I mean, I don't know what they would have necessarily done with that information had they had it, but
this finger,
what a terrible job. Oh.
And then they just post it on a poster, just a fingerprint. Okay. So they thought, sorry if I had read further, which this private investigator believed was strong evidence that the man was Mansfield, who knew his fingerprints were on file because he used to be at the federal prison in Leavenworth.
But still, like, someone would have to, like,
know to go there
go through with, like, a magnifying glass. There wasn't, like, database. Computers to, like, match that stuff.
True.
What a tedious job. I would not want that job.
Okay, so, like, they actually, like, took him in, but then they released him because of lack of evidence. And then that guy, Mansfield, actually sued this private investigator for defamation of character and won $2,200. So, yeah. However, a restaurant owner from Shenandoah, Iowa, identified Mansfield as the man he saw the morning after the Valiska murders boarding a train at someplace. This man said he had walked from Valiska. If proven true, this testimony would disprove his alibi. Dun, dun, dun. So who knows? Maybe it was him.
I would never remember seeing someone somewhere.
Absolutely not.
It would be the absolute worst eyewitness.
Well, because I literally just look down all the time. 100% of the time.
I could have met you 10 times already, and I don't recognize your face. I don't know who you are.
No.
Sorry.
I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. You think you're a celebrity? God. All right. Henry Lee Moore. He's from Missouri. Look at that guy.
Oh, hey,
there's a picture of
an hair.
And above it says 25 axe murders laid at the door of Missouri convict. Henry Lee Moore was a suspected serial killer who was not related to this family, who had the last name Moore also, who was convicted of the murder of his mother, and grandmother several months after the murders in Villisca, his weapon of choice being an axe. Before and after the murders in Villisca, the very similar axe murders on his mother and grandmother were committed, and all the cases showed striking similarities.
Well, I mean, anytime someone's murdering someone with an axe, that is
striking similarity.
Is a similarity.
So anyway, yeah. But they don't know anything. Sam Moyer was a brother-in-law to Josiah and often threatened to kill him, but they don't think he'd know if he did. He just hated that in
That's just called family tension. Right. Everybody's got that with somebody.
Oh, my God. So great. Okay. One last suspect, and then we'll get on to the haunting. So, Paul Mueller. In their 2017 is the number, book, The Man from the Train, Bill James and his daughter Rachel McCarthy James discussed the Valiska murders as part of a much larger series of murders which they believe were all committed by a single serial killer. They conclude the murderer was Paul Mueller, or Miller, one of the two.
Yeah.
An immigrant possibly from Germany who was a suspect of an unsuccessful year-long manhunt as a sole suspect in an 1897 murder of a family in Massachusetts who had employed him as a farmhand. Well, that's rude.
Yeah.
Maybe they were rude, but that doesn't mean you should murder them.
No, you can't kill. You just quit.
Yeah, go somewhere else. James started his research in an attempt to solve the Villisca murders, and with his daughter found archival newspaper stories detailing dozens of families murdered under similar circumstances across the United States.
Oh, people just getting murdered by axes left and right? Like,
weren't there guns then?
Yes.
I mean, not that guns are better.
Why am I? No, but if I had to choose, they're like, listen, you're dying right now.
But isn't a knife
an axe or?
Well, not like stabbings and knives. Like
a knife would be worse than an axe.
100%, because they're right up on you.
It would take longer too.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah. But now you don't hear of many axe murders. It's like stabbings.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, most people don't have axes.
No.
Also nowadays,
that as well. And knives are of a much higher quality.
And
unless you come to my house, don't even try it because my knives are so dull.
So are mine.
I can't even cut a chicken breast. So get an axe. In that case, get an axe, please. Find one and do that. Do not. It will take 97 hours to kill me with one of my knives.
It's just a butter knife.
Yeah. It's my melon scooper.
Oh my God.
Please
just kill me.
Yes, just
like how the Heaven's Gate people died. Just do that to me.
Yes. Give me some vodka and barbiturates or
and
whatever,
cover my head
and a Target bag. Just
Target bag. I want to go down with Target.
Please, if you use a Walmart bag,
I swear to God,
I'm going
Dollar General, I'll kill you.
Yes, I'll put it on your head. But we'll probably need 45 of them because their bags are not
quality.
nearly the quality as Target's. That's why I use Walmart bags for my litter box and Target bags for my bathroom trash can. There is a huge difference in the quality.
There really is.
And usually when I use the Walmart ones for the litter box, I have to double bag them.
Thank you for telling us about your...
Because that's how crappy, see what I did there? They are. Litter boxes.
Oh, my face. Okay.
What a nightmare.
All right, so this father-daughter duo solving murders. What a cool family.
Yeah.
Okay, so they believe that this Mueller guy was guilty of the Villisca murders as part of a killing spree that lasted over a decade, killing at least 59 people in 14 separate crimes. Yikes. The killer selected families who lived near railroad tracks. Interesting. Seemingly struck an ambush at about midnight while the victims were asleep. Used the blunt side of an axe, rather than the blade to strike the victims in the head and face, except for the dad. Yeah. Used an axe found at the victim's home and left in plain sight after the murders. Covered the victims with blankets to prevent blood splatter. Oh, before.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Covered.
How
many people did you kill before you realized that was going to be your new strategy?
Oh. Covered windows from inside the house and locked the doors before departure. Yeah. And sometimes there was a sexual motive. Ugh. Okay, moving on. Here we go. let's talk about some ghosts.
Yes, please.
Here we are. The Valiska axe murder house. So again, if you go there, there's this really annoying picture outside. I'll have to find it in a second with the, blood dripping. When Darwin and Martha Lynn, this is from, by the way, an article by Hadley Mendelssohn.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her. When Darwin and Martha Lynn.
What an intense name.
What an unfortunate name. Yes. Do you have a nickname?
Darwin, it's time for your evening cigar.
Or you're like,
I just imagine.
Hey, little Darwin, give me your bottle. Like, what is that? It's so awkward.
Hey, little Darwin, is a daddy home? Did he? That's Bruce Springsteen.
Is that a song?
Yeah, hey, little Darwin, though.
Oh. You got so weird when you did that.
Because I had to think.
No, but your body movements, you started to, do a jig. It was very...
Listen.
It was very not...
I told you that coffee would kick in.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay. When Darwin and Martha Lynn bought the 3-bedroom farmhouse at 508 East 2nd Street in Villisca, Iowa in 1994, they planned to turn it into a historical museum. Okay. Almost dollhouse-like in its simple layout, the home was the ubiquitous... How do you say that?
Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
That's what I just said. Ubiquitous.
No, I'm repeating you.
Oh. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Well, there's no So QU makes a w sound. Ubiquitous. I mean, I know you're right. Anyway, moving on.
Q can't go anywhere without you. a little phonics lesson.
True. Queen. Ubiquitous. Got it. Okay, anyway. The ubiquitous look of countless other cozy... Okay, it doesn't matter. The Lynns wanted to revive the home and bring it back to its former glory. That's problematic.
Yes, on so many levels. Which former glory? Former glory or just the former glory?
To function as an interactive time capsule and a glimpse into what domestic life was like for the average Midwestern family in the early 20th century. Could you find another home?
I was going to say, that's the house you're going to pick.
That was not the average family life.
Or was it? It sounds like everybody was getting murdered with axes. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
God. Now it's just guns.
Yes, everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so
the opioid epidemic.
It's so sad.
That's not murder, I guess. What kind of is?
It could be.
If you're writing prescriptions for things that you know people
or dealing it on the street.
Or dealing it on the street, shame on you.
Mm-hmm. True. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The Walls had more to say, though. This is terrible. And the Lynns were ready to listen. Great. Gross. Okay. What is it? In episode 2 of Dark House. I don't know what that means.
Hey, we're just going to throw this at you, too.
Co-house.
Ryan Seacrest.
Details of the unsolved case. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Soon after the Lynns bought the home, literally, this is a copy and paste. That was probably an advertisement on the site. It happens.
Who am I to judge?
Right?
I sometimes say, click here for more.
There is down here, it says, pause, unmute. I don't know what that means. Moving on. Soon after the Lynns bought the home, they got an influx of requests from some unexpected inquirers. Paranormal investigators who wished to visit the house to commune with the ghosts of the deceased victims who once lived there.
It was us.
Hopefully they're in heaven, or not there, but maybe they are. While the couple hadn't even heard of this profession. Really?
God,
what year was this?
Come up out of your rock.
1994?
What?
I
Ed
mean,
and Lorraine have been in the game for a while.
I guess Ghost Hunters wasn't.
Yeah,
hadn't brought it to
we were cool before our time.
That's true. I hadn't brought it to the forefront yet. But Unsolved Mysteries was a thing. You knew what ghosts were.
And Poltergeist was out at that point, and they had paranormal investigators in that
Hey,
movie.
Darwin, where are you? Where are you at?
Yeah, get a parapsychologist.
He's probably just reading science books.
Probably. He's I don't have time for this.
What about the Galapagos?
Ridiculousness.
I don't know. Charles Darwin. While the couple hadn't realized that's a profession, they quickly realized the little white Valiska farmhouse, possibly the most familiar-looking house in the most familiar-looking town in the country. I don't know. I don't think I could point this house out. That's the Amityville house, sir. Was haunted, and that the museum would reflect its deep, dark history. Ooh. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We know that I'm not going to say the terrible murder again. The house changed hands a few times over the last 100 years, and the reported ghost encounters just keep accumulating. Things like disembodied giggles.
Ew.
Mm-mm. But there were kids there.
Yeah, but...
It's sad. But no, I don't want to hear a disembodied giggle ever.
That is more terrifying than
even in the daylight.
Disembodied moan. Whoa.
What about sexual moan?
No, I don't.
Gross. Why did I just do that out loud?
And your face was... God, it's got a glimpse of the Kyle's world. Like, oh.
I'd like to apologize to everyone here. To Amy.
Particularly me. Kyle. God.
That wasn't my sex face, Amy. I don't think I have a sex face. My sex face is just my eyes like squeezed closed.
Please be over. Oh, now I feel like I can't not let you post that Victorian era photo. I'm being a bad friend.
It's fine. It's hilarious. Love you, Kyle. He's not listening.
No, who are we kidding?
Okay, disembodied giggles and screams, unexplained movements, a strange fog moving from room to room when the train passes through town. What?
That's just the exhaust.
Or the light. Headlight. And strange behavior from visitors that indicate the possibility of possessions. Zach Bagans, we see you.
Yeah.
That's just him. Are just some of the activities that indicate a paranormal presence at the Valiska axe murder house. What if Zach Bagans ever contacted us and wanted to be on our podcast? And,
I would say yes immediately.
100%, I know, but and he didn't know that we made such fun of him. Or he did.
He just has to assume at this point.
Well, I mean, everyone makes fun of him.
Exactly. He can't possibly take himself seriously, right?
I think
he's the one laughing all the way to the bank, so whatever, joke's on us.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I still watch his shows occasionally just for the entertainment value. Okay. So Martha Lynn, who lives there, said, I don't know if the murderer is still here, but things have happened that aren't exactly calming. Okay. And that's all they say about that.
Okay.
Today, the Valiska Axe Murder House serves as a paranormal hotel. But it's so tiny.
Oh, sorry.
It's literally tiny. Just one person can stay at a time.
What's your definition of a hotel, though?
Where groups of 6 or fewer can pay $428.
Okay, that's like an Airbnb. That's not a hotel.
To book an overnight in the house. Accommodations are sparse. In fact, it's recommended that guests bring their own sleeping bag.
Or you'll be told to sleep on a fainting couch in our case.
That's exactly right. Which is shaped like a W. It's so confusing. Why is the leg so
fainting
high?
Are you doing?
You have to elevate your legs.
Folding up like a suitcase when you faint.
When we, whoever that is, spoke to Martha on the phone. Oh, I guess they're still there. You can give them a call.
Oh, hey.
She informed us that she simply hands the guests the keys when they arrive and then leaves. Goodbye.
Oh, we can relate. Well, we thought they left, but turns out they did not.
Gross. As for Martha herself, she doesn't like to talk about her own ghost sightings in the house as to not color the experience of the guests. She did, however, share this comment with us when we asked her who she thinks the ghosts are. Quote, I feel like there's something there. If indeed there are spirits, you have to realize that 6 of them are children. I don't know if the murderer still exists there, but there have been a few things that have happened that aren't exactly calming, but I don't like to dwell on it. End quote.
Don't blame you.
You can take a daytime tour for $10 a person. Oh. I would do that. I don't think I'd sleep there, though. It's too sad.
It is sad.
It's just sad. And okay, my hands are so sweaty. And that is the Valiska Axe Murder House and Haunting.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone.
From our neighbor, Iowa. Good job.
Thank you. I'm so sweaty.
All right. So mine's super short.
Okay, we're at 43 minutes. So
I'm covering the Snedeca family, also known as the True Haunting in Connecticut.
Okay, I know that. I've never heard of Snedeca.
That's their real names. So
I don't think I knew that was a true story.
thescarechamber.com.
Oh!
I actually had a whole bunch of other websites too, but then I'm like, no, they actually did a pretty good job of just covering everything I needed to cover.
There you
go.
So Scare Chamber it is.
So here we go. They open with, I'm just going to read it verbatim.
Yeah.
What's worse, having a child with cancer or living in a home where you're regularly tormented by demons?
Child with cancer.
How about both at the same time?
Oh, God.
So this is what happened to this family. And I'm sure you've probably seen the movie. It's got like Virginia Madsen in it.
I don't know who that is. Okay. I'm sure I've seen it. I'm sure we saw it together and clutched each other.
Probably. So in the late 1980s, that was a reality for this family, the Snedekers. And I might be mispronouncing their name. So this is their story, which is the true story of the haunting in Connecticut. It says, in 1986, Carmen and her husband, Alan, had decided that they wanted to relocate because they had been making a lot of trips from back and forth from wherever it was that they were living to Southington, Connecticut, near the Yukon Hospital, which is where they were having to take their son for treatments. I believe, it doesn't say right here, I think he had like Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh my God. That's like the worst. I can't.
Yeah. So they packed their family up. Oh, and they left New York. So they've been living in New York. So their family, it was them, the parents, and their 4 children and 2 nieces. So
wow.
So yeah.
Like adopted nieces?
I don't know if they were just caring for them at the time.
Yeah, who knows?
So they found a home that was a duplex, and it was perfect. It was huge. And they had, that entire family, the 2 adults and the 6 children. And they were going to convert the basement into 2 additional bedrooms. And so then there would be enough room for everybody. So they started working in the basement immediately once they moved in. Because the rest of the house was pretty much turnkey, I think. So they just wanted to get these bedrooms built. But as they were working in the basement, they discovered that it housed mortuary tools, including a chain and pulley casket lift and a blood drainage pit. Where is that
going?
That was a thing, because I lived in an old funeral home and it was like a well almost.
It just goes into the ground?
I'm assuming, because it was like super deep and yeah. And so
what if it fills up?
Yeah, well, I don't think. Hopefully, you're not doing that much business.
Oh, God.
So an inquiry into the background of the home discovered it had previously served as a funeral home, obviously. And to be exact, it was called the Hallahan Funeral Home. So despite its creepy history, they went ahead and continued their renovation. Moved
it's too
in.
late,
So
probably.
We gotta, and like they're gonna prioritize their child's health.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, weird. This used to be a funeral home. Whatever. Like, we gotta get our kids to
and maybe it's like it's too late. We paid for this. We're done. We're stuck.
And a lot of people, that's what it says. Believe they say because of financial reasons.
Well, that's always seems to be an underlying thing when someone moves into a haunted house.
Oh yeah, it's always a good deal.
Or else you'd just leave. You'd sell it and leave.
Yeah. So their son Philip, who was the child that was being treated for cancer, had one in the basement rooms, and his room was the one that served as a casket display room. And was right down the hall from the former embalming room. He would complain to his parents almost immediately once they moved in about hearing voices and odd sounds. At one point, he described seeing shadow figures and a man wearing a pinstripe suit with white hair.
Jack Skellington?
Yeah, but that's way too specific. The man would skulk and stare at him while he slept.
While he didn't sleep.
No. And then one night he started screaming, saying he had seen bodies upon bodies stacked into the wall.
Oh my God.
He begged his parents to let him stay at the hospital. So how sad is that? He's like, just let me stay there. I'm having to go there all the time.
Well, he's got cancer. He needs to rest.
Yeah. But they didn't believe him. They thought he was just having hallucinations because of his cancer treatments, which, I mean,
you would think
there's
that's
some pretty
logical.
strong medications. They can cause all sorts of things with your body.
So that's a demon. When I think of the dude with the striped suit, that's totally a demon.
100% a demon.
Well, because he's just like, it's very like Beetlejuicy, though. It
does, but I don't think it was Beetlejuicy to him.
No, not at all.
I just said juicy.
I didn't. This episode has a real sexual tone.
Beetlejuicy couture.
I wrote for my notes for a topic. I wrote Sexy moan joke. Can we come up with a title of that?
No.
Moving on.
Okay.
Just
so then Philip's personality began to change. First, it was just little things like his interests and tastes. It says,
God.
First, he began to wear leather. Well, I mean,
the child?
Well, he's not really a child. I think he's a teenager at this point.
Oh, I thought he was 10.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. I made that up.
So he began to wear leather and developed an interest in the occult. But it's like, you know what? If you're a teenager and struggling with the fact that you have a disease that could potentially be terminal.
Yes, you're facing
why would you not start looking into other things?
Yeah, I think that's logical.
So, but then he began to write poetry. And the poetry involved necrophilia. So that was kind of the topics of it. So then they were like, Philip, whoa.
Whoa.
Let's just stop. So on one occasion, and so then Philip began to kind of like mess not in a way with the family.
Right.
But he wanted to scare his younger brother Bradley. So he's like, hey, Bradley, come here and just lay on this thing. And he didn't tell him, though, it was a gurney from the morgue.
That's so cool.
And so his brother is like telling the story later. He's like, and it freaked me out, but I didn't want to run because it was my older brother and I didn't want to look like a wuss in front of him. So he's like, I really want, I had to look tough. So even though it was super creepy and it scared me, I went ahead and stayed there. Oh God, I like cut and pasted stuff. And now
this is sad.
So finally, though, things came to, and I guess at some point he even broke into a neighbor's home and to steal a gun.
Oh my God. And I wonder if everyone in the neighborhood's kind of like, well, he has cancer, so just like...
Yeah, just let him...
Yeah, just,
Probably.
Yeah.
So then things, though, finally came to a head when he attacked his cousin. And she alleged that he attempted to rape her.
Oh, God.
So at that point, his parents called the police, and he was arrested and ultimately diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Oh.
So he was placed in a treatment facility, but once they believed he was doing better, they let him return home to his family. As it should. No one should be institutionalized forever.
No.
That's However, while Philip was out of the house and, getting treatment, the other children began to hear strange voices and see things. Even Carmen, the mom, began to notice things. Items around the house would disappear. And she's just written it off thinking, oh, it's okay. There's still a whole lot of kids here. They're moving stuff around. Right. I'm so busy taking care of kids. Maybe I'm just forgetting what I'm doing. But one day she had completely set the table for dinner. And when she turned around, all the dishes had been put away. So like, it's no way a kid did. Like she literally sets the table, turns around to just like do something, turns back. The dishes are all put back where they belong.
Ew.
Man, I did a terrible cut paste job.
That's so creepy.
I have so many words missing. Something turned bright red right in front of her eyes. I think she was like mopping or something. And then like all the water and everything that she was mopping had turned like blood red.
Oh, God.
Right in front of her. She and her husband, Al, both reported that their bed would begin to vibrate inexplicably, feeling like it had a pulse or a heartbeat. And other visitors to their home were even able to describe feeling something like that.
That's a really common thread, though,
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking back about Rolando last week.
Sometimes she'd be lying in bed and she would feel like she was being pressed in upon from all sides. Light bulbs in the home would give off an unnatural glow. At one point, frustrated with everyone leaving the lights on and their claims of ghosts, Al unscrewed all the light bulbs. Such a dad move.
That's a total dad move.
But even that didn't stop them from glowing after he had unscrewed all of them. Then they began to notice the pervasive smell of feces and decay in the house. God. One night, both Carmen and her niece, Tammy, had a terrifying encounter. Carmen reported waking up in the middle of the night to a negative and heavy energy around her. Oh, my God. Sorry, every time I do this, stuff just keeps disappearing. She couldn't see anything, but what she felt was terrifying. She could feel cold hands reaching under her pajamas and grabbing and pulling at her bra. And she could hear a hideous laugh. And then finally it went above her shirt and out the window. And then Kelly, I'm assuming maybe that's the other niece, had the same experience, except she was fully assaulted, like sexually assaulted.
That's so sad.
And then both Carmen and Al began to have encounters in their bedroom at night. So not just Carmen anymore, now Al too. They reported feeling an unearthly atmosphere in their bed. This would be accompanied by 1930s mood music. I don't know what that would have been. And then an assault sexually on either Carmen or Al. And this happened on multiple occasions.
Oh my God.
So where's the music coming from too? Just like...
Now, I don't know. If all that's happening,
yeah,
I'm not sure I'd go back home every night. I think I'd sleep on the street.
Yeah. Then later on, when they had started sharing their story in a TV interview, Carmen admitted that one time she was running away from the house with her niece, and her niece was hideously abused the entire way. So they weren't even like in the house. They were out and running, and the whole time they're running, her niece was being abused. When asked why they didn't leave, Carmen explained she didn't think it would make a difference because everywhere we went, it followed us.
Oh my God.
One night while in bed, Carmen finally saw the ghosts that were haunting her. One had long black hair with black eyes, and the other had long white hair and white eyes. So once she saw like full body, like apparitions of them, she's like, that's it, I'm done. So obviously she contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren.
I don't know which is scarier, all black eyes or all white eyes.
No, I don't either. Like, they're both terrifying. Or just something that's not supposed to be there. Period, the end. Ugh. So, Ed and Lorraine at this point had already, like, gained some anonymity. Or not anonymity.
Popularity.
Yep. Not anonymity. The opposite of that.
Exactly.
Because they had already covered, like, Annabelle, Amityville, the Perone family that they'd helped out. These things had already been kind of publicized. So together with their team, Ed and Lorraine spent 9 weeks at the Snedeker home.
Gosh.
Looking to get the full demonic experience. During that time, they experienced everything that the Snedekers had reported. Team members were often slapped, beaten, pushed, slammed into the floor, and more. So Ed and Lorraine, looking for a full picture, conducted research into the history of the home and discovered that one of the morticians that had worked in the home when it was a funeral home practiced necromancy. And had him...
Well, wait, necromancy is the raising of dead people, right? That's not necrophilia.
I don't know. It's just doing anything. Like,
I thought, hold on. Necromancy somehow goes into...
Well, hang on, though. And had infused the home with deep evil. Not only that, but had participated in and had been found guilty of necrophilia.
Okay, because necromancy
so he was doing all sorts of crap he shouldn't have been doing with...
So necromancy is the supposed practice of communicating with the dead, especially in order to predict the future.
Okay.
So he just doing all kinds of gross things.
And necrophilia. So,
great.
You know. So they declared the house to be infested with demons and rated the entity within to be a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. Thanks,
maybe
Ed Lorraine.
What's a 10?
What's a 10? Jeez, Ed Lorraine.
I'd say that's a 10 if it's like assaulting
that's like a 12
people.
On a scale of 1
true.
to 10. So then they're like, it needs to have an exorcism. And so after the house was cleansed, the Snedeker family moved out. So their story was made popular by the movie A Haunting in Connecticut. And it's come under a whole lot of scrutiny as it always does.
Of course.
Like, quit the victim blaming.
Right.
This was their experience. You don't have to believe it.
Right.
But you also don't have to negate what they're saying their experience was.
Exactly.
So first people say that the claim they never knew it was a funeral home before they began renovating it has been disputed. The owner of the home has said that the Snedekers were fully aware of the house's history before they ever moved in. So I think they were actually renting it.
Okay.
Another claim states that there's a sign engraved, the Hallahan Funeral Home, right inside the entrance.
But you don't think that all that other crap's going to happen just because of that.
And who cares if maybe they just thought it was like a family heirloom or something too. If they're saying they didn't realize it was a funeral home...
Then they didn't realize it.
Then they didn't realize.
They had a lot on their mind.
Yeah. But according to the Snedekers, the sign had actually been covered with plywood and was concealed from their view. The owner of the home went on to say that Snedekers invented the whole story, saying it's a fraud, a joke, a hoax. They did it for Halloween. Like, no. They had way more important things to be worried about.
Their child has cancer. Why are they wouldn't be making...
And then he went on to say, this is so gross. This is so slumlordy of him. That at the height of the paranormal activity, when the family was getting behind on their rent. And they moved out just before the eviction proceedings were complete. First of all, they're probably like drowning in medical debt. Because this is the United States of America. Cut him some slack. Right. So then a neighbor even called them out on the TV show Sally, Jesse, Raphael, saying they never had a problem till they got behind on rent. Rude. You have to go on Sally, Jesse. Shut that down, Sally, Jesse, with your red glasses. Another neighbor, Catherine, claimed the family had this plan from right when they moved in. Sandy, an upstairs neighbor, also refuted their claim. She said she had never seen nor heard anything supernatural in the building.
Oh, so there's multiple people living in this house. I guess.
Well, it was a duplex.
Well, and I mean, I think we have seen over the years of reading this stuff that it doesn't attract to everybody.
Right.
It's different people.
Yes. But also Sandy had an ulterior motive, seeing as she was an employee of the real estate agency the family used to find the home.
You don't count,
Sandy.
Sandy. You don't count.
She confirmed they were totally made aware it was a funeral home. And she corroborated the claims that the Snedeker family had been falling behind on rent. Okay, why is the landlord telling people their financial business? Rude.
Slander.
In an interview, Sandy also claimed the problem started when Carmen had told her she was having nightmares and suggested she take some sleeping pills, but Carmen wouldn't because she said, no, it's my father coming to haunt me. I'm calling the Warrens. She did not say that. Sandy, you're just trying to get involved.
Sucks. What a busybody.
Yeah. Then there's just all these neighbors like chiming in. Blah, blah, blah. And then like the author that says he worked kind of hand in hand with the Warrens was like, ooh, the Warrens said there wasn't enough stuff, so just make stuff up. No, Ed and Lorraine did not do that. I don't buy it for a second.
A lot of people believe that though.
I don't.
No, we love them.
We love them.
Actually, what's funny is that I really love the Vera Famiglia and Patrick Wilson version of them more than the real people.
For sure.
When I envision them, that's who I think of now, not the actual people.
Right.
It's terrible.
No, I agree. Yeah, because although I do still see, because Lorraine later in life, like kind of like had little cameos on paranormal shows. So I kind of see her as her in her twilight years. So how does kind of like the movie correlate with the actual events? Because I always find that interesting. Like, do they like amp stuff up just for entertainment purposes? Sure. So it says that the movie is based on their experiences. The house was spacious and the rent was cheap. So just like in the movie, that is why they did that. And because it was close to Phillips, the hospital where he was receiving treatments. After they moved in, they did discover the mortuary
that would be...
that had been, a funeral home multiple decades prior to them coming there. So it's not like it was still... like relatively new, or they would have been like, people in town been like, you moved into the funeral home? Right. Like it had been decades
so long ago.
Prior. It says in addition to the mortuary, they found a small graveyard out back and drawers full of eerie corpse photographs within the house. So that's, which used to be a thing though.
True.
Because a lot of people I've read, couldn't really afford to have photos taken because it was so expensive. Yeah. But then once a loved one died, they would splurge and have photos taken because that was all they were going to have. I'm not really sure why there were drawers full of them, though, there. Shouldn't you be giving those to the family?
Well, it's like, was he doing it just for his own gross necrophilia?
Maybe.
I
did a terrible cut and paste.
Did you just forget words?
There's just, and then there's just stuff from, like, up above.
Well, maybe let's blame your iPad. It did that.
Yeah. Well, I was doing it on my laptop.
Google Docs did it.
They did. So Philip's mother, Carmen, had said they were incredibly powerful. One of them had very thin, high cheekbones and long black hair and pinched black eyes, while the other had white hair and was wearing the pinstripe tuxedo that Philip had described. So in real life, just like in the movie, Philip did have cancer of the immune system. They did move there to be closer. Carmen still was like, no, we were never told this was a funeral home.
Yeah.
The younger son, Bradley, said that, when his brother had talked him into laying on that gurney, they also found he was spun around on it uncontrollably while he was lying on it. They did find like toe tags and head tags. What's a head tag? And other personal items of the deceased.
On your ear? Where do they put it?
I imagine it like a Karate Kid bandana thingy.
It's real weird. Head tag. In case you didn't have toes?
I guess. They brought in the researchers, and Lorraine came in.
That would be creepy, though, to just find like toe tags in your house.
So anyways, The Haunting in Connecticut, the movie was, but obviously there were way more events in the movie because they turned it into an 1.5 hour long movie, but it is believed that these events truly did happen. You're always going to have your naysayers. Philip did eventually go into remission, so that's good, and he had become a truck driver, but then somewhere I'd read like upon the time of the publication of this article, his cancer had returned. So in 2012, he did pass away at the age of 38. So,
man.
So again, that was super short, but
what a tough
I never
life.
knew. But in my defense, it had been like 4 different articles, so it was really long. But then as I kind of skimmed them, I was like, oh, this is the same stuff repeat, which happens so often. But then I know I had more stuff to share, but my cutting and pasting, I don't know. Something went awry.
We got the gist. This is good.
Okay, thanks. Listen, they can't all be Heaven's Gate. And that one I talked for an hour, so
we're good. We're good. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for listening. Check out our website on thehauntpodcast.com.
Yeah, go to our socials: Facebook, Instagram on the Haunt Podcast on Twitter.
Tell your friends and family.
Send us those messages. Email us, DM us.
All the things.
We're here for it.
We love to hear from you.
Yeah, buy our stuff. Please. We really don't even make money off of it. We just want to know that you're like wearing our stuff and you love us. Send us pictures of you wearing our stuff. Don't send us pictures of us. That'd be weird. And then that'd be like we'd have to like get a restraining order. Don't do that.
We don't want to do that. Okay. No. All right. Thanks.
All right, guys. Bye.
I'm living with a ghost.